All right, welcome into Titans by Two. I am your co-host, Austin Nelson, with my man, Brett Batchelor. Brett, how you feeling, man?
I'm doing all right. Still a little bit under the weather, but feeling better than what I was last Sunday, that's for sure.
And I wish we could go back to last Sunday before this past Sunday because the Titans didn't respond how we thought they were. So give me just your as soon as the game ended, what did you think about it? What did you think?
Coaching, honestly, that's the first thing that I went to, were some of the coaching decisions that were made.
And what did we talk about the week before? That's
coaching.
What I said. I said, what's going to win us these games or coaching?
We hit it right on the nail. And also, when the first game was ended, we were both there, so we obviously saw it in person, everything like that. So, shoot, we started off the game with the onside kick against probably a top 5 offense in the league, which is probably not the best option when we don't have the best defense. We threw the ball 41 times and only ran it 21 times, when statistically we're a better team if we're more balanced and maybe even run the ball more. There's just no fluid to the game. The whole team just looked kind of – I don't want to say sloppy because there's some good points, but the offense was just kind of off and on. The defense at times was off and on. And, really nothing great popped in my mind as soon as the game was over. It was more of, okay, what in the world just happened? What did we just see?
So the way I've been telling people, I was there in person, watched everything. So if the Titans get the onside kick, Malarkey looks like a genius.
Yep.
But since they don't get it, he's an idiot. Why open the season like that? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. It's going to come with it. So was it smart? Probably not. You put the Raiders of all teams in great field position with the weapons they have. You trust your defense. I get that. And when hearing after the game, I heard Kevin Byard say it with Jonathan Hutton on the radio. Jonathan asked him, did Coach ask you guys about that? And he said, absolutely. It was communicated through the locker room, and we're all for it. We're behind his back. We got him 100%. And I was like, okay, that's cool. If the team was behind it, then I'm okay with it. But now you're in that spot where if you knew you weren't going to get it, the defense had to get a stop, and that didn't happen.
No, 4 plays, 52 yards.
Yeah, some things happened on the drive. Amari somehow, some way got in the end zone, which is an incredible play by him, but there's no reason why it should have taken 15 defenders to get him down. So, my reaction of it, man, it was, looking back on the stats, the game seemed worse than what it really was.
Yeah.
The Titans had, just from the top of my head, I could be wrong about this. They had an 8-play drive that went down the field in the red zone, then a 9-play drive, and then a 94-yard drive.
99.
No, it was 99?
I think so.
Was it?
Yeah, when Marquette stuck it way down there.
You might be right.
Somewhere right around there. I'm sorry. Go ahead, though.
No, you're good. But my point is, you drive all the way down there. The offense was moving. There was no doubt about that. Marcus threw 41 passes. What? 41 passes? In his career, we haven't seen him do that yet. So it's more about how the Titans, they didn't execute properly. And I said it all game long while I was sitting there upset. The play calling was atrocious.
Yes.
With a halfback toss on 3rd and 2 on to
the weak side.
The weak side of the field. Why do that? Why not go? You had a one-on-one. And I think I'm almost positive Marcus audibled to the halfback toss. You had Corey Davis on alone, one-on-one coverage by himself. I went back and watched the play by himself on the other side of the field. All you got to do is throw it up, get the kid a chance in the first NFL game. Give him some confidence.
What did you see his first catch? Shoot.
We can hit on that in a minute. Oh my gosh, yes, that was actually right there in front of me. I was actually there when I was watching it. So it was in my end zone. So, man, there was just some stuff that we could talk about all day long. Another thing I want to hit on with you is the running game. 21 rushes for 95 yards. Obviously something that, is not exotic smash mouth. That what we were known for is, the Titans known for is running the football. And there wasn't a lot of it. And, why do you think that?
Really, I don't really know, honestly. I don't know if they wanted to try and, trick the Raiders or something, because they think we're going to run the ball, so we're going to do something different. But I mean, seriously, DeMarco 12 for 44, and his longest rush was 21 yards. So really, the bulk of his yardage came from one run.
Right.
And then Marcus was 3 for 26 for a touchdown. That was our first touchdown of the game. And then Derek 6 for 25. So I mean, nothing big at all. I mean, honestly, the best run of the game, I know DeMarco ran for 21. The best run of the game was Marcus's when he ran for a touchdown, just because it worked so well. So I don't necessarily know why they didn't run it as much. Maybe it wasn't working well in practice either. But if we're going to establish the exotic smash mouth and say that's what we're going to do, then we need to do it. Or then they need to do it. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was more of the game plan they had and they thought there was better matchups on the outside. That didn't work really well enough either. They had some, like I said, just bad play calling. I don't understand why you did multiple wide receiver screens with Eric Decker when you have guys like Corey Davis and Taywan Taylor, and even Rashard could have done it. But I don't like how Ecker. I don't like how Eric is.
Maybe that's a nickname for him.
Ecker. I like it. I don't like how Decker is the outside guy when he's a much better blocker than Corey Davis is. So just silly stuff like that I noticed all game long that, put ourselves, I felt we just kept shooting the Titans and they kept just shooting them in the foot. Just dumb stuff like that. So Delaney was Delaney. He caught everything. Let's hit on Corey real quick. Corey, what you just kind of said it. The first catch he had in his career was incredible.
Back shoulder, going to the ground.
Just went up and got it, and he had
the whole place went crazy. He went crazy too. He was so excited.
And it was a third down play, and that was a touchdown drive right there. Yep. On that drive, they completed 3 first downs on third down. So there's it wasn't a bad game. Like I said, let's go back to it. And the stats were about even for everything. So it's just the Titans, they could not convert. The field goal could have been touchdowns, and I think that's what changed the game.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, though, too, on the third, I go back to the 3rd and 2, and when we pitch it to the weak side, we did the same thing last year. If we get Derrick Henry, who can bulldoze over people, why do they not put him in on 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2 and just let him run through the line? Because and he falls forward most of the time. There's a good chance he's going to get it. Put him in the game, and if he doesn't do it in the game, then I can understand if they want to do something else. But he's such a big guy, just let him run over him.
I think they're in a pickle. The Titans are in a pickle where they keep saying DeMarco's the main guy, but in our eyes, we're seeing Derrick Henry should have had that ball. He should have been the one carrying it. And I think they want – DeMarco can get 2 yards. There's no doubt about that. But he shouldn't be doing a halfback toss. It should be a dive, a counter, a weak.
I'll give you the halfback toss on 1st and 10, 2nd and 7 or something like that, but not 3rd and 2.
Go between the tackles. Don't go outside the tackles. And on a 3rd and 2 to the weak side just doesn't make any sense. And like I said, I don't know if Mark is audible to that because he saw something different in the defense. I don't know what the play was. But
they stopped it immediately.
It was just a dumb thing. What else do I have down here for notes? Let's talk about Marcus and the 41 passes. Obviously, I don't know if they just abandoned the run game because they were trying to get back on the score. Because the Titans, it was a 13-point game for a second. It was getting carried away.
Yeah,
that might have been the reason for the 41 passes. It was the 6 different receivers. Taywan Taylor, I think, needs to get involved more.
Yeah, he only had 2 targets.
I think he caught both balls. I think. We'll hit on it in a minute. But I think this week in Jacksonville is going to be a whole lot different.
It has to be.
I think it's going to be a whole lot different. And I think it's going to be – we'll wait. I'm jumping ahead, and I don't need to do that yet.
You're good.
Okay, so let's transition to something else that came out this week. The Titans had 8 Hall of Famers 8 Hall of Famers, I wish. Had 8 players up for Hall of Fame. Some guys that were up for it. Eddie George, Steve McNair, Kevin Mawai, Kyle Vandenbosch, Lorenzo Neal, Steve Hutchinson, Randy Moss, and the reason why I don't think there's some guys on here that I don't think should be mentioned as in the Titans name because the majority of their careers were not with the Titans. They just played here for a season or two. Randy Moss played half a quarter with us, pretty much. Yeah. Hutchinson came here at the end of his career and was incredible, a captain. He should be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt. With the Vikings, in my opinion, not with us. Maybe he'll give the Titans some recognition.
Yep.
Lorenzo Nail spent it with the Chargers.
Most of it, yeah.
In front of LT, but he spent a lot here. There's no denying that. Kyle Venabos, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer.
But if he were to go in, I think he'd probably need to go in as a Titan because that's the best years of his career were here, or were there in Nashville.
And usually, I mean, the names we're saying those are guys that are now up for eligibility, and they're not going to get the votes, but they're up now, and it's a possibility. Gary Anderson, the kicker, maybe. I don't know if a kicker just got in with Morton Anderson, so I don't know how long they're going to take again to put another kicker in the Hall of Fame. Kevin Mawai spent a lot of his career in New York with the Jets, but a lot of his career here too. And I think Kevin is a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
I don't know about first ballot. I don't know about this year, but down the road, the two guys that spent their whole career here until the tail end of it were Eddie George and Steve McNair. Though between those two, in your eyes, who gets in the Hall of Fame?
I think man, that's so hard, but I think it's probably got to be Steve. Steve is the greatest guy to ever put on a Titans uniform, in my eyes at least. Probably and Eddie, honestly, Eddie's probably two.
It's 1A, 1B.
Yeah, exactly. So, but Steve is just the legacy that he created in Nashville, especially from the transition from Houston to Nashville and the changing of the team. And the first year they were there and went to the Super Bowl, and we were good every single year. And everybody loved Steve, and he was so tough and not afraid to run over somebody and would air the ball out. And we know he had the co-MVP with Peyton Manning. I think it was in 2002. If I'm correct.
2003, yeah.
2003, yeah. So and
I'm almost positive the story behind that, from what I just remember growing up, was Steve's. Steve was MVP that year, but he just decided to give it to Peyton too. It was like he was like, you know what, Peyton had great numbers too. Let's give it to Peyton too. So I'm almost positive it was Steve's MVP year, but he's just a hell of a guy and gave it to
exactly.
Peyton. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong.
But that's exactly. I mean, there's so many stats. I mean, that we'd have to go and look up other times just because of. And I met him before. I mean, tragically, we all know he passed away, unfortunately. But I met him when I was younger, and just the guy that he was, and so nice, everything like that. It wasn't anything different from. It was almost like he was more mean on the field because you expect guys when they get off the field not to want to talk to people. But out of that list, I think it's got to be Steve.
He's a warrior, man. There's nothing bad to say about Steve McNair. Every time he went on the field and put on that uniform and helmet, man, it was something special. You always knew he was gonna make a play. He was gritty. He was tough, man. He was a warrior, and that's what makes Steve so great. So, but I'm with you. Between those two, I think it is Steve. I don't know if they will get in Hall of Fame. Their numbers weren't that great between those two. There's plenty of running backs that deserve it more than Eddie, and there's plenty of quarterbacks that deserve it more than Steve. But maybe down the road, maybe 3 or 4 years from now, we can have this discussion again and talk about it. But first ballot, I don't think so. But I'm with you. If one of these had to get in, besides Randy Moss, okay, Randy's going to get in.
Yeah.
There's no.
I guarantee you, he's not going as a Titan. So
he's not going as a Titan. If he gives us some respect, maybe a shout out, thank you. Randy.
Yeah.
But
if you look on that list though, too. You have the best quarterback to ever play for the Titans, the best running back to ever play for the Titans, and possibly you could maybe throw Kevin Mawai in as one of the better offensive linemen to ever play for the Titans as well. So
if there was an all-time list of linemen that play for the Titans, he'd be in there.
Yeah, exactly. So there are some good household names.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
On the list.
Okay. Let's transition to this week. And the Titans travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jags, and the Jags are coming off a pretty surprising win against the Texans. I think the Texans are on right now, and I don't know what the score is.
And last I saw it was 10-9 Houston.
They were winning before I came out here. And I don't think the Bengals or the Texans will be worth a hoot this season.
No, probably not.
All right, 13-9 Texans with a minute to go, so that'll probably be your final score.
Come on, Cincinnati.
Houston's got the ball, so I doubt that's going to happen. So, yeah, the Jags, a pretty surprising stat to me, and I don't know about too surprising, but just the way it happened. 10 sacks.
Sacks.
For the Jags on Sunday against the Texans. And the Texans are known to have a bad offensive line. But you know who does not have a bad offensive line, and that's the Titans. Exactly. So start with that. Give me your breakdown on the Jags D line and the Titans offensive line.
If the Titans want to run the ball more effectively than what they did in Week 1, then they're going to have to find a way to slow down Calais Campbell. Calais came from from Arizona to Jacksonville and signed a 4-year deal. So it's not like a little 1-year thing. He's here for the long haul, and he's such a good player. I saw him play when he was in Arizona. And he's always been such a workhorse. And they're gonna if they're not going to double him up, then they're going to have to find a way to slow him down. And because he had 4 of the 10 sacks alone himself. So which is ridiculous. But 10 sacks in general.
Yeah, some guys don't get 4 sacks in a season.
Exactly.
And he gets 4 in a game.
Yeah, first game of the season.
That's crazy.
So the offensive line is going to have to find some way to toughen up and push them back off the ball rather than them pushing us back into our own backfield, which I know is tough, but they're going to have to gritty up and be a lot tougher than what they were in Week 1.
And so, with you saying that, the running game, because obviously, like we hit on it, 21 rushes for 95 yards, and that's what the Titans do. They run the ball. And they ran the ball well against Jacksonville last season, both at home and away. I remember that home game was the Thursday night game, and was it 21-0 with like 8 minutes to go in the first quarter? It was something crazy. Yeah, I was there for that one, and that was. I was like, is this really happening? Like the Titans are winning, but it was a blowout.
Yeah.
But let me I wrote down their defense. Let me tell you who's going to play for them on Sunday. Okay, and this is a pretty stout defense. But you hit it, Calais Campbell. Then they brought Malik Jackson in from Denver.
Yep.
Okay. Telvin Smith at linebacker.
Yep.
Paul Posluszny, Miles Jack. You got my guy Jalen Ramsey, Barry Church, Tashawn Gibson, and then AJ Boye, who the Titans missed out on.
Literally, if you go around the league and ask random fans from different teams across the league, they're going to know probably at least half those guys starting on the defense.
That is a stout defense.
It's unreal.
You would think though, like from looking at that defense, you're like, oh, so the Jags are, Super Bowl favorites pretty much. That's what I'm getting at. But it's the offense for them who and they're banged up right now. So let's transition that. With a mediocre quarterback and Blake Bortles, who completed 11 passes on Sunday. I think I wrote that down.
Not really surprising, honestly.
11 of 21 for 125 yards and a touchdown. Okay.
That's Blake Bortles right there.
Allen Robinson is out for the season. Poor guy. Tore his ACL. D.D. Westbrook's out. He had surgery too. Their draft pick. So here's the leading receivers for the Jags on Sunday. Allen Hurns, Marquise Lee, Aurelius Ben, and then you get the tight end, the guy that's been there forever, Mercedes Lewis.
Seriously, they're so long.
He's been there forever.
Yeah.
He's been there a long time. So the Jags, that's what's going to hurt them is the offense. But we saw it last year too, where Blake Bortles came out slinging against the Titans at the end of the year, which was crazy. So there's so many things that are going to Sunday that the Titans have to do to win the game, and it's both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. They got to stop Leonard Fournette.
Have to. The front seven's going to have to step up.
Rookie debut, 26 rushes for 100 yards. In your rookie debut, you get 26 rushes. They trust you. That's what that says.
Yep.
So it's gonna be tough, but we talked about it all. We wrote about it all season long, but in the offseason, we talked about it in the podcast already. To win the division, you have to beat the division, and it starts on Sunday. So what do the Titans have to do to beat the Jags on Sunday?
The Titans have to play more like they say they're going to play, honestly. And I think a big thing is we go to the defense. And I know that they don't have the best offense, but we don't have – I'm not saying – it's not like we have a good defense, though, either. Marquise Lee, he's such a speedster. So – and there's a good chance he's going to be on Adoree. And Adoree looks solid most of Week 1. He played so much better at corner than I thought he was going to.
Hey, Adoree, for his first game, Adoree Jackson played good.
So much better. So – I'm not really worried about their outside guys, but they're inside guys, and I'm sorry, our inside guys, and I talk about this all the time, but it's always such a big deal with us, is our front seven has to stop the run. It has to, and especially when you got guys like Leonard, and even on, and it was the same way we was last year. 3rd and 3, all the other team has to do, whoever we're going to play, is send their tight end on a little slant route across the middle, and they're going to get the first down because for some reason the linebackers can't find a way to cover. So if we can get our front seven to I guess, tighten up a little bit, play a little bit stronger, play a little bit smarter, and what's his name? Jarrell Casey hasn't practiced for 2 days in a row now, which he's supposed to practice tomorrow. So, and he got bulldozed by Marshawn last week. So, man, I mean, we got to tighten up somewhere in the front seven if we're gonna do better.
There wasn't enough pressure on Derek.
No, not at all.
And I'm not sure why. I don't know what LeBeau schemed up for that. I don't know if he's trying to play more zone or more man or whatnot. But I think the Titans only had 2 sacks against.
It was on back-to-back plays too.
So they were. Yeah, you're right. They were back-to-back plays. We didn't mention either. Jonathan Cyprian's out for a few weeks.
Yeah,
so he's not playing Sunday.
But we do have a good vet behind him.
You're right.
Or at least a solid vet who knows our system and the North.
Searcy will we'll be playing Sunday, and after that they're pretty thin. So after my bad. Texans beat the Bengals. Tyler, edit this out. So what was I getting at? Yeah, so Searcy's playing Sunday. After whoever it happens to KB, God forbid that happens with KB or Searcy, then they're thin at safety. So it's gonna be. I don't know if, and it sucks for Cyprian too to go back to his former team in Jacksonville, not even play. I feel bad for him about that. So it's gonna be tough, man. I want to believe that the Titans come out so pissed off from last week, and then last season what happened in Jacksonville, because they still. I mean, they've talked about it all week long. They still get the taste in their mouth about it. So. What's your prediction? Like, what are you thinking? Like, what's going to happen?
Man, we tend to talk about the defense so much, and I think that's because we know we have offensive weapons and they look good last year, so we don't have to worry about it. And again, like you brought up Byard. Byard once again was the leading tackler, or tied with the leading tackler. He had 8 tackles, and so did Wesley Woodyard. So we talk about the defense so much that I think that if the defense can step up against a subpar offense for sure, then it'll probably – honestly, this one might be low scoring. Maybe just because their defense is so good. And I'm not talking like 6, of course, but I'm not seeing anywhere like a 37-30, 34-30 game. So, I mean, probably somewhere in the 24-17, 21-13 type game. But
I think I'm with you in that. I hear that for sure. I think – the offense will click more. I think that the offense will have a better day on Sunday. And I don't know if that means 2 first-quarter touchdowns. I don't know what that means. But I know when they get in the red zone now, they're not going to settle for a Ryan Suckup field goal.
No.
They got to score. I could see DeMarco getting a touchdown, Derek getting a touchdown, and then Marcus throwing it. I mean, I just feel like the Titans will come out playing. Yeah, they'll play more aggressive on Sunday. Now, the defense, they gave up a lot of plays on Sunday to Crabtree and to Amari.
Seth Roberts.
Seth Roberts scored a touchdown.
Yep. That's when that right there, that Seth Roberts throw in the seam with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, that's when the energy left the stadium.
Yeah.
Because before the game, the energy was there, and the Predators showed up, and we know that the Nashville loves the Predators. So there was so much energy, and the stadium was crowded too. So there was a good population in the stadium. So all the way up until about that 10-minute mark when they scored and went up by 10, that's when the energy started kind of leaving the stadium.
And if I can remember right, I think that Seth Roberts' touchdown was a 3rd down too.
Yeah. Yeah, right in the seam too, right in the middle of 3 of our defenders.
The Titans have to get off the field more. They need more punts and need to give Adoree more of a chance to make a return.
Talk about his Adoree return. How about that? That hurdle, yeah.
What was that about?
And that was on his only return because everything else was touchbacks.
Yeah, I just didn't understand that. I mean, it's Adoree, and he can do that.
Malarkey said on his not in the post game presser, but after one of the practice pressers, I was listening to it on the radio, He said we went back and looked up at the film, and Adoree went up in the air at the 27 and didn't come down until at least the 35, maybe the 36. So you're talking about 8 yards.
That's
9
crazy.
yards up in the air. It's unreal.
He's an Olympic class
Jumper.
Yeah, broad jumper. So with that, I mean, it makes plenty of sense to me why why he does it. So, I think the Titans, I don't know about a must win because it's not a must win, but the Titans are going to win Sunday. I know that. We're going to do this every week. I know we are. Listen to everybody who listens to the podcast. One day we'll lose. I promise. The Titans. I will pick.
We face Seattle in week 3. Depending on how we look this week, it'll be up in the air for sure.
And depending how Seattle looks, because Seattle didn't that great.
I look at this schedule behind me every single day, and I get so excited, and then I turn around and get so nervous.
Yeah, exactly. It's what the Titans do to you, man. You come out so confident, excited, and then comes Sunday, and you're like, oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Something's gonna happen. But no, I just think the Titans come out with more energy. They're just more confident in I have little doubt that the Titans will lose Sunday, and if they do, then I'll come back on here and I'll tell you I was wrong. But I just feel like the Titans have to win the division. They said it all year long too. They gotta beat the teams inside the division, and that starts with Jacksonville. That starts Sunday.
Exactly, because Jacksonville's already 1-0, already 1-0 in the division as well. If we lose this, we go 0-2, 0-1 in the division. Houston's about to win, or just once. They're 1-1 now. They're 0-1 in the division. But shoot, last year we went, 2-4 in the division, 2-4 in the division, and shoot, if we win 1 or 2 more division games, we're in the playoffs, and probably in a much better position than what Houston was, because I think we would have fared better against New England in the playoffs. But regardless, we didn't make it, so that doesn't matter. But we have to play better in the division, and Indy is down. Indy is so down right now. So if we can get 2 from them, steal 1 in Indianapolis, and I think we'll win the Monday night game in Nashville, because Monday night in Nashville is always awesome.
The thing about
pull it out, then we could look all right.
The thing about Indy too, I've said this since before anything about Andrew Luck came out. I think Indy will have a top 5 pick, and that's just solely on the fact of the roster. It's still down. It's not the offensive line's awful. The defense is not that good. They don't have any weapons.
Nope.
No running game. So
Frank Gore is still starting. I mean, he's got to be like 70 years old now.
For the sake of only the quarterback can only do so much. I understand Andrew Luck is going to make them better. But when you have a beat up Andrew Luck who is still hurt pretty bad. I mean, it's
pretty bad.
It's like a week-to-week thing, man. He could be out several months.
Yep.
And I think we're just kind of downplaying it right now, because now they're saying, at least mid-October, and that's like 4 games for him.
Exactly.
So, those 4 games he's going to miss now will be 6 games.
And now they're up and down on who they even want to start a quarterback.
Yeah. And now you traded for Jacoby Brissett, so that's not a good sign at all.
No.
So I think for the Colts' sake and for the Titans' sake, that a lot of people say it's good to see another team not named the Colts in the playoffs and winning the division. And maybe it's good for them to tank and go get a guy. I don't know, Saquon Barkley. They're not going to get a quarterback, obviously. But
I'm okay with them being bad every year, though. So
yeah, I don't either. Andrew Luck's he's a piece that not a lot. A lot of teams would love to have.
Exactly. Yeah.
So. All right, for Titans by 2, I'm Austin Nelson. That's Brett Batchelor. Titans, Jags, Sunday, 12 o'clock, CBS. Tighten up.
Tighten up.